All right, welcome. Purpose of this video is to do a little bit more sophisticated index operation. In the previous video, I had given you a really simple example of creating a whole bunch of objects and putting them into an index. The index was Boolean, and the Boolean value was true when the x value was less than 0, or false when the Boolean value was greater than 0 for the position. Now I'm going to do something that's a little bit the exactly same idea, except for one little minor change, and that is that I'm going to have what I call a conditional index. This is to demonstrate that the values that you put into the index are entirely up to you. It may be implied that you have to index all of your objects, but that's not the case. So it's best that you look at the previous video to see how this object was constructed, because all I'm going to do is talk about this new test object. It's called CI test object. It looks exactly the same as the other object, except for this one, well, a couple of little minor changes. First, I've changed the index from left to CI left, and I've set the position. So if the position is greater than 0, then I'll actually store this value left or right. So that's basically the only difference between this test object and the previous test object. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just swing this over to the side, and I'm going to run the create multiple test objects. So it's exactly the same. Again, the only difference is CI left is the index. Otherwise, the code is pretty much identical. Of course, I'm creating a CI test object instead of a test object. So let's run this script and see what it does, which will probably be nothing, and it'll be really boring. So here's my my left script, my left objects. I'm going to delete both of these guys and go into here, run this script, and that's it. So basically, it's gone ahead and it's created my database, and it's created a simple.cileft objects. So let's see what this thing does. So now I'm going to turn off the test creator, and I'm going to run the constructor. Now I've built the constructor a little bit differently than the previous script. In the previous script example, or the video, I had 2 filters, but now I'm going to do something a wee bit different. I have an enum called display action with all left and right, and the display action is this action here. So basically what I can do is I can specify in a drop-down list box 3 possible options for the action. So the action is implemented sort of the same. I've implemented the database. I'm using CI left. And now I have an enumerable of integers called intList, and I assign it based on whatever the enum is. So when it's show all, I go to the database and I say grab me all the objects with a type of test. When it's left, I run this condition, and I guess I can remove this test here, and I'll actually do this. So basically it says when the condition is true, then select the value. So this method, this all method, returns a key pair value of Boolean and integer, where the integer is the object identifier. And then show right is when the key is false, then don't show me the objects. And fix that. So once I have my int list initialized, I basically just scan it through, construct all my objects, and place it onto the screen. So let's compile that. It should compile fine. So now we have this script running, and we're going to show all. So this is what the previous script created for me. So here's all my objects with a bunch of stuff on the left and a few on the right. So now I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to run it again, showing the left. Now, unlike the previous script where it showed all the left objects, because I had this condition in my constructor, or in the object itself that said only put the item onto the index when the position is greater than 0, what we'll have is, I'll just go back to all here, what we'll have is we'll show just essentially these objects when we display left. So we're setting left, and there's the subset of objects. And when we show right, we'll see the subset of objects on the left-hand side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to implement a different function in here. Show index, put in a comma, and I'm going to say case display action dot show index, and I'm going to set this value to basically cileft, but I'm not going to have a condition on here. I'm just going to do a select. So now we'll see all the objects that are above, that have a y position greater than 0. So I'll save that, compile it, works fine. So now I'm just going to run this, and I'm going to show index. So now we'll see all the objects that are on the top of, or have a y value of less than or greater than 0. So here's all my originals, and here's all of my show index guys. And that's sort of a more complicated index example. Basically a conditional index, where you can conditionally add to the index values that you want. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.